So like, I don't think that the streaming simply isn't allowing me to do anything, but we can record and it can be uploaded later without any issue.
Wheezy, he either needs to leave at 8 or we need to end at 8. Either way.
All right, we'll do a short show. We'll end at 8.
Okay.
Okay, we're starting at 7:08. So in 10 seconds. Five, four, pray.
We are Journals Out Loud. We come to you live from the Journals Network, in the Journals Network studios high in the Hollywood Hills. I'm your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker.
I've been out there wandering.
And we're talking to millennials, young people with things to say about things and stuff. Today on the panel, we're going kind of light.
Intimate.
Kind of intimate, kind of cozy gathering. We've got Aaron, we've got Josh, and we're going to take your phone calls. No, we're not. We're not live today, right?
Correct. If you're seeing this, this is after the fact, and
Yeah.
there's no way around that.
Yeah, something's going
But
on
you
with
can
the...
still call and leave us a message at 888-531-7171.
That's right. That
and
was
we'll
Matt.
air it next week.
Call, leave us a message, talk to us. We want to talk to you. Anything going on to report, Josh? Anything new?
Well, I mean, just the same old same. I'm still working on scheduling all my music stuff in now. We've finalized some deals and stuff, so
Nice.
it's all good, and that's moving forward. And then, yeah, just big plans for that. And also still in the nonprofit sector, going up. I'm flying out of town in a couple weeks, and I'm going to be talking to legislators again and doing some
Wow.
major stuff up there. So
That's wonderful. And would you like to show everyone your sneakers?
sure. Well, let me see if I'm flexible.
Let's see what...
Don't knock over the
All right, screen cap this. Yeah, screen cap that and post that out. Very good. Those are Josh's high tops.
Screen cap this. That's a great T-shirt.
Hashtag screen cap this. And Aaron, what's going on with you?
Oh, I'm boring. I spent the last week in and out of bed. I had first a cold and a sinus infection. You can probably hear I'm nasal. Sorry about that.
Are you also allergic to Trump?
I remember,
It's going around.
I remembered something.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All right, let's dive
Actually
into
remember
questions.
something.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
a dog.
You what?
I got a dog. I
You got
another.
a dog?
I got another dog. He's a Pomeranian mix.
Oh
Wow.
my
I have a
God.
picture. I have a picture.
Have you posted out his picture? What's his name?
I posted it on the Journals app and only on the Journals app, nowhere
Okay.
else. But let me see if I.
So
pull
download
up
the
with
Journals app. You'll find it.
Yeah, download the Journals app.
Network. It's a free app in the iTunes App Store. Join our community. Join our conversations. We would love to hear from you.
And happy iOS 10 day, by the way.
Did you download it today, Aaron?
No, but I'm backed up. I'm ready to go as soon as I get
And
home.
what does it do?
Well, I've been. Haha. See, I'm this
There's a
kind of
dog.
person. Ooh.
Cut to dog.
Oh no, you can't really see him.
Oh my gosh, he's the cutest.
Yeah, he only has
Oh
one
my-
eye.
Oh,
He's
well,
blind.
you only need the one.
I know. So Halloween. He's gonna have like one of those little patches.
Nice.
Pirate dog.
So
Yes.
All right, so what does iOS 10 do?
I won't go too deep into it, but more or less, I've been on my iPad. I've been using the iOS 10 beta for like the last couple days because I'm that person, and it's been fantastic. It's just a lot of they did a lot of focus on the lock screen and on notifications, so everything is much more accessible than it's ever been. It just feels more modern. You'll download it and you'll be like, wow, it feels like I upgraded to a new phone. That's your first thought. Yeah, that's honestly. I don't want to say too much. And I also don't want to build it up too much, but I just want it to be fresh. Just go in, and it'll be like a breath of fresh air for your phone. I'm going to sum it up that way, I think.
All right,
Yeah.
so go and do it after the show?
Do it right now.
During the show?
Oh, I don't even
Well, I was
care.
hearing some people
Even with
have
our
issues.
crappy internet connection? I'm not downloading until I get to like Wi-Fi. Must have Wi-Fi. We'll work for Wi-Fi. All right, so let's talk about some questions that came into our app. Once again, the app is Journals Network. We are Journals Network here on YouTube. You can go ahead and subscribe, and then you will be our best friend forever, and that's important. This question is, I recently became a freshman in high school. I've been doing pretty well, making friends and everything, but I want to know how to get a boyfriend in high school or how to get a guy to like you. I don't have any specific guy in mind, but how would it work out between classes and needing rides from your mom? This sounds like one of those kids that, like, at the beginning of the school year, she gets all her notebooks and, like, labels everything, and then she has folders, and everything's cross-referenced.
Yeah.
It's like she's kind of trying to line up something before there's actually a need for it.
Right, like this is high school. This is what I know it will be, and I know this is what high school always is, and this
Yeah.
is going to be my high school experience, day to day to day to day, and it's going to involve a boyfriend. I don't know who yet, right?
Yeah, it's like you don't necessarily have to take the boyfriend class like this year because they have it next year. It's like be with someone that you like. Okay, so let's imagine, for the sake of answering this question, that she meets someone she likes. All right, Aaron, how does she organize school and boyfriend?
I think, first of all, like there's a whole issue of a boyfriend for a boyfriend's sake, which we'll get to later. But like you said, focusing on, all right, so you meet this guy, and you like this guy, he likes you. All right, cool. You met in school, probably, which means that you're probably seeing each other every day at school anyway, right? So that helps a lot. But then there's the issue, like you said, you don't have a car. Maybe he doesn't have a car. How do you actually hang out together? Well, that's when it gets tricky. Do you know that you can date people? Like, does your family care? Because if they are okay with that, maybe they can help you out sometimes. Maybe his family, same deal, driving back and forth, whatever. But I agree, it's complicated. Maybe you could start working towards your license. You're old enough, right? I think you are. No, you know what?
Freshman.
Yeah, not quite there, but you can still start learning. So, preparing, right? Because it seems like you like planning everything out. So, prepare now so that when that time comes, you can get your provisional license and whatever else.
Well, Josh, you were engaged in middle school, correct?
You can say that, I
Mhm.
guess. I mean, I was dating someone, and I still dated them all throughout high school.
So how did you logistically work all that out?
My parents didn't know. So, so I was logistically working it out in my own calendar. And and for me it was really, school did suffer. I would say that if I had a chance to go back, I would really focus on school, and that's the advice I would give. Focus on school first and then relationship after, because you can always have a relationship. School only happens once, like at least in that kind of way. High school only happens once, and some may hate it, but some may love it, but it only happens once. So focus on that and have a relationship afterwards. That's what I would say.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong in this, but to me it feels like there's a lot of like dating in name that goes on in middle school.
Yeah.
And then kind of around 14 or 15, there's no dating because you're just not ready for the actual real part of dating. And that happens around junior year. Am I right or wrong with this?
I mean, like, I think the tricky part is, like, what is dating? When does
Yeah.
dating become, like, not... And I don't want to say when does dating become real dating, but that's kind of what I am saying. Because if you can't spend time with the person you're with and, like, make that your time together that you are able to do on your own, it's really hard to, even if you like each other a lot, say, oh, yeah, we're on a date, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, my parents have nothing to do with this. This is just me and this person going out, right?
Well, I would definitely say, like, kind of along what you were saying, really, even though I was in a relationship or seeing someone for that long, the actual dating or relationship didn't start till junior year. Like, you said, like I had got my car, and then we could actually go on dates, and we could actually do things and go out and be on dates and do what in, like, relationship. So I don't know. I don't think dating as a freshman really is what you would consider dating in real life. It's just more of like, hey, you're my boyfriend at school, and when I go home, I'm myself.
Well, it is kind of a title, but how much goes on between the two people via electronic device?
I mean, like, a lot can happen there, but it still boils down to independence, right? Like, it still boils down to how much independence do you have to follow up with this relationship, and same with the other person, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're both independent at a young age, like, I mean, for example, like, even before I could drive, I was still going out on, like, I figured out bus routes, I was on subways all the time, I was doing all sorts of stuff, and that gave me more independence than maybe someone else might have had at that same age. So maybe I would be in a better position to date than someone else who didn't have those same benefits, right? Like someone who didn't know all that.
Well, I think it definitely depends on the parents too in that situation, because electronics could definitely add to having a relationship, even if they can't see each other outside of school. But like in my situation, it was like the parents were highly controlling over everything. So like the cell phone had to be turned in by 6 p.m. and wouldn't get turned back into the kid till they get to school the next morning. And so it was really, even though the electronics is a thing of now, it just depends on the parents too, and what their comfortability and where they stand and having. And it sounds like if you're looking to get rides from your mom, you already know your mom may not be fully okay with it because you're like, question mark, like, is this something she's going to be okay with? Like,
Well, don't you get the sense from this kid that she's saying, all right, well, I signed up for the high school package and that's supposed to come with boyfriend. So
yeah.
like you want that experience, and it's not necessarily everyone's experience is so different. It's just like, don't put that pressure on yourself to have a boyfriend before you've actually met someone that you might like that way, Aaron.
Right, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier, which is boyfriend for boyfriend's sake is typically not a great way to go about things.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're dating someone, you want to like them, right? You don't want to say, oh, you're my boyfriend because, you're single. Like that's not going to be fulfilling for almost anybody.
It should be a high bar.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, right, you should say, oh, I know your first and last name, right? Like, start there. And then, honestly, though, friends, it's a great way to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, getting to know them and caring about them and, like, becoming someone that you can laugh with and trust. And then say, you know what? I like you a lot. Maybe we can turn this into something more than that, right? Like,
yeah, and the main thing should be, like, a lot of times people are looking at, oh, like, is he cute? And, what does he think of me and all that? You really, for boyfriend material, you want someone who gets. Like, that's a whole other layer. Like, if you're just always kind of scampering after him to get him to look at you, that's not enough of a connection. He needs to really get you. Where like, oh, wow, this guy really understands what it is that makes me tick. And that's when you make that decision that, hey, maybe we should be more than friends, like together. It's not like you casting a role or, putting out a want ad that someone comes in and is like, well, we've looked at all your qualifications and, hey, you got the job. It's more like do high school and make it about you and learning and friends and everything. And then if boyfriend happens, then we'll address boyfriend. And you can even have this conversation with your mom too, like, hey, what if boyfriend? So that she can think, oh, mom, my daughter's, because your mom's going to be like, are we there? And then let her kind of get used to that. Oh, we're on this ride now. Because it's all a process. Aaron, would you read the next question, please?
I would be happy to. This is from Des1537. I'm about to turn 16 next week. About 6 months ago, me and some friends went to a boy named Jackson's house. Everything was all fun and games until he pulled out a bong. He asked me if I wanted to try. At first, I said no, but then I saw everyone else doing it, and I didn't want to feel like a wimp. So, I tried it. I went home and everything was fine, but later on, my best friend's mom pulled up into my driveway. She told my parents everything. My mom told me never to talk to my bestie again. I still do, but she doesn't know. And took my phone. So now, here I am 6 months later without a phone. Oof. She told me I wouldn't get it back until I was 18. I told her it was a one-time thing and that I was just experimenting. I am truly sorry, and I know what I did was wrong. Can anyone tell me how to get a second chance faster than another 2 years? I mean, I can just jump right in if you want.
I want.
So you say, you said, I told her it was a one-time thing and that I was just experimenting. Then in the next sentence you say, I'm truly sorry and I know what I did was wrong. You said the first sentence to her. Did you say the second sentence to her? Because, like, yeah, you may have, but that's really important because, like, it's one thing to say, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just a joke. It's just, like, whatever. We did a thing. Who cares? I mean, if that's how you feel, oh, this was wrong. I did something bad. I'm apologizing. I do feel sorry regardless of what I've said to you, right? Like, that's something that your parents need to know. You have violated the trust, right? They want to feel like they can trust their kid, and right now they feel like they can't. And I agree with you that probably, like, they're overreacting. I think that 2 years without a phone, for example, just doesn't make a lot of sense. I think that you need to work on rebuilding that trust right now. You said it's been 6 months. That's impressive. They've got some endurance, but you need to go and be really upfront about this. You need to say to them, listen, it's been 6 months. I've been on good behavior. I've tried to show you that I am someone that you can trust. Clearly, 6 months in, we're not any better off. What can I do for you outside of what I've already done? How can I prove to you that I am worth trusting, right? If you can say that to them, like straight up to their face, I'd be shocked if you couldn't find a way to work something out. That would be amazing if they wouldn't listen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree in some ways, and in other ways I feel like this person, the way she's even just like wording the question, or maybe he is wording the question, like they are constantly talking about the fact that they don't have their phone. They're not just trying to
yeah.
prove the fact that
yeah.
they're responsible enough, and that's what's going to be the fact that you don't get your phone back, because your parents are going to be constantly annoyed the fact you're saying, well, why can't I have my phone back now? Can I have my phone back today? Like, if you're asking all the time instead of just accepting the fact you don't have your phone and then trying to be responsible in that way, then showing them, then that's going to, even if you are showing them and being more responsible than you've ever been in your entire life, the fact that you're asking is actually undermining what you're trying to do, because they're going to continually just see it as, okay, they're just trying to get their phone back. And as soon as they do, they're just going to go back to the way they were. So I would stop asking if you are. I'm just jumping the gun here. I don't know if you are, but if you're asking, stop. And then sooner or later, something will happen. I don't think you're going to wait till 18. It just, if you keep asking, maybe you will.
Yeah.
Aaron.
I mean, I think that's a great point. Like, as long as they think that you're still... They're probably thinking, like you're saying, oh, they want the phone, they want this, they want that. They miss what they lost. I mean, I think that's not going to work. I agree completely with Josh. I think you need to prove to them, even if it means telling them directly, that the only thing that you really lost was their trust, right? And honestly, that is kind of true. Like, they're your parents, and if they don't trust you, then all these things that you take for granted get taken away, because they don't know what you're liable to do at that point with whatever they give you. So if you fix the trust issue, probably things get better, generally speaking. But that has to be your main focus, the trust, not anything else. And you need to make sure that they see that, not just that you're working for it, but that that's specifically what you want.
So to me, it feels like a few things came completely off the rails for your parents, and probably all of them had to do with your honesty. I know that you've told us a lot of the story, but I don't know that you've told us the full story. Were you lying about where you were? Were you lying about whether or not you took a hit off the bong? In your letter, there's a lie. You've been asked not to communicate with this girl. You're still communicating with this girl.
Right.
So I agree with Josh and Aaron in that this is a trust issue, and that you haven't been... You haven't looked at your parents and said, I get it. You're not, you may be remorseful, but I feel like you're more teenage defensive than remorseful. And which brings us to the question of, how bad is pot really for kids? Because we talk about this, and I don't need for anybody to tell me whether or not they've tried it. I've never tried it, but I'm a weirdo. Malia Obama was caught smoking pot, and her dad smoked pot. So what conversation was had? What conversation do you have with a 17-year-old about this? Because it is a thing that people do that isn't the worst thing that people do. Aaron, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it almost doesn't even matter how bad or good it is for anybody. If it's something that you knew was going to violate their trust in you, probably not the right time to do it while you're still living with them.
Mm-hmm. So underage, still no.
I mean, like I said, do I know people who have been lax in their lives about this stuff and it's all been fine and chill? Sure. Do I know some people who are very strict about that or didn't even want to do it anyway? Sure. It really just depends on the situation. In this case, it sounds pretty clearly that they have a very strong stance about this kind of stuff. And so I'm not even going to comment on how bad is it for you, how whatever is it, because that's not going to matter to the parents. There's nothing you can say to them that's going to say, it wasn't so bad. It's the violation.
So you're saying it's a rule violation, therefore these are the consequences.
Right. I mean, like, it could have been like, I took a swig of beer, right? Which, that obviously you shouldn't drink underage, but like a swig of beer is like, not, like whatever, right? But
and what if they've had this conversation with their kid where they were like, hey, if a joint's getting passed around, you don't take, you're going to be in these situations. And so when it's your turn, just say, no, thank you. And she did the exact opposite. And the parents feel, oh, we've let ourselves down because we thought that we had a better connection with her, that we had gotten through it. Sometimes parents are really angry at themselves when they appear angry at you because they just want you safe. And they know that if you're high and around a bunch of people before you're really kind of responsible enough to know, if you can't say no to pot, like would you say no to sex? Like those are the things that they, in their head, they just start spinning out of control and it's just dogs howling in the neighborhood. They agree with me. So they're scared. Your parents, I know they seem like your stern parents who took your phone away, but like they're terrified. You're the most important thing to them. And so even when you're angry at them, always remember that this is kind of expression of their love. That if you don't feel like you've got the lesson, they're not gonna give you your phone back. Like Josh was saying, like, are you calling me? I thought you didn't have a phone. Yeah, you have to really show them that you get it, and that's going to help you get your phone back. Yeah,
Definitely. And I think that pretty much covers that. I think,
it's good.
All right, next question, Josh.
Okay, cool. Fiery poos.
That's a screen name.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's her real name.
You're asking, I want to know why I get sexually harassed all the time off guys when all the time off guys when all I want is some friends. Why do they like sending nudes and asking for sex? I don't get it.
I mean, I guess where are you meeting them? That not
Probably
the, not
kick.
right. I mean, like I'm just thinking that the way you're phrasing this is that you're just meeting some guys and then the first thing they do is send you nudes and ask for sex. Where does this happen?
Online.
Right. It happens online.
And can I just ask a question? Because I'm just going to cut right to this because I'm the girl in this conversation. Does it have to do with her profile picture?
No?
No.
Not at all. Completely not at all.
Just
As a
the
matter of
fact
fact, like
she's a girl.
we've done tests on this. Like we put like literally just there's like a picture of a picture of a rock, and as long as it's got a girl's name on it, they don't care. It'll be like, oh my gosh, it's a girl. I can say things to this girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Profile picture has no bearing.
All right. Does it have to do at all with the kinds of things that she says, like "Hey, cutie" or?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. As a matter of
So
fact,
you're saying all girls get hit up for nudes?
all girls.
I don't even, well, she didn't say, she said they were sending nudes.
And that also happens
That
to
also
all
happens
girls.
too. Just guys just send pictures of their junk.
So,
Like, that's it.
but if you're looking to make friends online, there are people who want to be friends.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh, sure. And,
definitely.
and even on places like Kik and even on places like even Tinder, like you're going to find people who aren't assholes.
I
Like
would-
that's just, you're going to. It's just not
I would
normal.
look probably somewhere else though.
I would
just-
agree. Yes.
just maybe
That's
like-
not the first place you should look if you're looking for a friend.
Club Penguin,
Yep,
Oh my gosh.
Club Penguin.
really friendly.
Actually, sometimes, well, I've had friends that get banned from there, but
Oh, do you have a Club Penguin history?
yeah, but it's okay.
Oh, no.
It's all
no.
good.
Well, this is going to come spilling out.
So yeah, I would say don't. Yeah, see, you helped her a lot just by saying if you have a picture of a rock with a girl's name, like this is Amanda, she's Granite.
Yes.
You know, and just block people. Like don't answer. You know, like I get the weirdest tweets. Like, I mean, people will just tweet something like completely sexual. I don't even know if I want to give them the honor of blocking them. I just ignore. Like, I'm not talking. I don't know if you just go through Twitter saying this to women, but like just by virtue of being a woman, people will tweet things to you and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, does this work?
I mean, so far as I can tell, no. But that doesn't stop them from trying.
Yeah.
And basically, I've seen a lot of great responses to this stuff. Like, often the best is to just either ignore or block because there's no recourse, right? If you block them or report them or ignore them, it's going to go away. Right?
So next week, bring in examples of good ways to respond to people that have been inappropriate online.
Well, but here's the best thing, though. Oh, my gosh. There's so many subreddits about this.
work on it.
Basically, you've got, like, these girls, they get these awful, like, hey, baby, you want some...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whatever, right? And then they'll have like some witty quip or whatever to send back, and then they'll take a picture and then they'll post it online and say, I hope you're ready to get famous on Reddit, right?
Right.
But oftentimes they're idiots and they're like, oh, what are you talking about? And then they find out later, and then like some people like apologize, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that was like, I didn't know you were a real person or whatever. They're all full of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just
public
understand that
embarrassment.
Matt, you found something?
Oh, no, but I did have a comment here.
Okay, go.
And that is that this is a numbers game. And I kind of think back here. I'm 46 years old. For me, if I wanted to just talk to a whole bunch of women in high school, a whole bunch of girls, and eventually find one that liked me, well, that was effort. I mean, yeah, I would. Sure, I was at school, but it wasn't as quick as just swiping or just messaging someone. But what I feel like happens nowadays is that kids think that or a young boy thinks that Well, I'll just keep messaging until I find one that responds like I want.
Okay, so if you
Seriously. I mean, and this is the same
copy
thing
and cut,
that-
show
yeah.
me your boobs, and send it out to 1,000 people, you may get to see some boobs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
You will.
let's say 1 in 1,000 responds. Well, you got one now. You know.
Yeah.
One
kinda
boob,
like-
one boob.
Well,
You don't get both.
That's all it takes.
Oh, well,
you know,
And-
beggars can't be choosers, but.
well
But-
yeah, I
but-
get what he's saying.
But
Yeah.
and see, this is why I'm glad that I didn't have these capabilities when I was in high school, because when I was at an age that I maybe wasn't making the most mature decisions, I with that kind of power, I could have really made some bad mistakes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I feel like that's what happens. And I don't necessarily, I mean, it's not the right thing for a guy to do.
yeah, well,
But I can see how it happens.
Right.
It's just like you said, casting a line any which way, and like I wasn't doing it in that way, but like last week with the guy that was the side face picture,
Oh god.
just like it just casts a line any which way and hope one lands. Like instead of having to actually do work and effort, it just
But
there are girls out there that make this behavior okay,
Right.
And that's why it happens.
Right.
Well-
It's like telemarketing. You know, you make enough calls and someone's gonna buy your.
that's
Yeah.
exactly it. And I used to have a cousin that worked as a telemarketer, and she always said, "Oh, I love the people that cuss at me and hang up because I get to the next call faster and I will make a sale faster." This is the same kind of deal. It doesn't make it okay. And I really would like to tell the girls that are the recipient of this kind of thing, don't stand for it.
Yeah.
But just simply say, if you persist, I'm going to give this to my parents who will speak to the school. Because
If
it's
It
you
may
know
not
these
even
guys,
be
yeah.
in the same school. Like it could
But
be.
if you
Yeah.
know
across
them,
the country.
if you know them, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's not okay,
no.
but I can see how it happens.
Right.
One, which I just thought of my favorite response to this is occasionally, like, it'll be on Facebook, like, they'll friend you randomly, like, okay, whatever, sure, I'll friend you, who cares? And then it's some random creepy guy, right? Well, then you take whatever he's saying, you screenshot it, and you say, guess what? I just sent this to your mom on your Facebook. Because,
Awesome.
yeah, and then people have done that, and then, like, there's repercussions.
oh yeah, they get in trouble.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, because, like, it doesn't matter how old you are.
I
Your
like
mom,
reading
your
those
mom
stuff.
sees you do this, right?
Yeah.
I like reading that stuff on Facebook.
I
'cause
love
I'm
seeing
just
that
like,
stuff, yeah.
Oh,
Drama.
Yeah,
16.
yeah. Yeah, so just
Like-
don't feel like it's anything about you.
No, it's nothing. It's
just
nothing
this
about
is
you.
the internet.
Yeah.
It's,
Alright.
it's the internet, it's dudes, it's all sorts of weird stuff.
Aaron, read the next question, please.
My friend wants me to ask this girl to homecoming. I think I'm going to, but I don't really know her. What could I do to not have the dance be too awkward?
Okay, so asking strangers to a dance, yes or no?
I think it's okay. However, there's no chance of it not being awkward.
No chance.
Like,
You know, you got to dip into some awkward as you grow up. You
Right.
got to dip into some.
And you know, I'll tell you what, like, I think that it's generally speaking true of all dance to an extent. Like, maybe not ballet.
For sure.
But because, like, what is dance besides, I mean...
It's
like-
even awkward for the teachers.
Well, because here's the thing about dance. I've known dancers for all my life. Dance is about sex. Like, that's a weird thing to say, but it is true. Like, that is what it is. That's like, it's all about, like, the body moving in cool ways, and like it's all about, like, the rhythm and whatever else. Like, it all winds up being about that kind of energy, and it's going to be awkward even if you're a professional dancer. It's always a little awkward if you're dancing with people, whether or not you know them. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's like a natural, normal awkwardness.
But yeah, even just to take away the dancing itself, just the
Yes,
event
sure.
of being there, dressed in clothing that's not really what you would wear, not really feeling like yourself, and everybody's just sweaty and kind of wondering
yeah.
who's with who, and
Well, I think
it's yeah. So go ahead, Josh.
Well, I think it depends too. Like, is this your first homecoming? Like, you're a freshman, or if you're a senior, like that will also depend on the level of awkwardness of it. Because if you're a freshman, it's your first homecoming. You're like, oh, this is gonna be super awkward for you.
I think the reason we do this to kids is because it makes marriage seem really easy afterwards. It's like your dad just throwing you in the pool and like swim. Because yeah, you have to talk to the opposite sex and then the dancing and I always skipped dances. I never wanted to have anything to do with any of this. But like I said, I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I didn't too.
if your friend thinks that you should ask this girl and you think she'll probably say yes, then yeah, I would say put yourself through this. But will it be fun? Probably not. But will you be happy you did it the next day? Probably. Unless you wake up in the fetal position, sobbing uncontrollably, which could happen too, because that's all part of growing up. Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that has me the most questions I have about this revolve around my friend wants me to ask this girl to homecoming, but not for the friend, for you. Your friend wants you to ask this girl to homecoming. And like maybe that's like, yo, dude, you need to get out. Go ask this girl. I know her. She'd probably say yes. It's all cool. Or maybe it's like, I don't know what it could possibly be. Like, oh, I'm not going, but here, I was going to go with her. Now you can go. I don't know. I can't imagine why.
It could be that he's going with a friend of hers, and he wants his friend to go with her friend. You know, it could be just that simple.
Oh, no, it totally could be. But it's still, in the end, ultimately, you didn't pick this girl. Someone else picked her for you. And maybe you're all right with that, but maybe you're not. Think about that before you ask, right?
How do you guys feel about acknowledging to someone that something's awkward to make it less awkward?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I mean, usually you're not the only one feeling awkward, right? Like, if you don't know that, you know that now. No.
At a homecoming dance, I promise you that everyone is feeling awkward.
There's probably a few that aren't, and those are the ones that are like on the dance floor that are doing some weird.
Don't trust those people.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't trust those.
Those are the grinding ones.
Those
yeah.
are that's the principle. Do not.
The principal. Hopefully not, because that
Grinding.
would be bad.
Yeah, I mean, homecoming dances are. Yeah. I
mean,
mean, if you feel like you would wake up the next morning and regret not going, then go.
Yeah, I think for me, I was like too cool for it. Like I would show up in regular clothes and just sit in the corner and watch and
Judge.
judge and be the one in the hallway eating, because I'd be always by like the food bars and just kind of mingling, and everybody be coming up to me and I wouldn't really be doing much. Be like, oh no,
Wow.
I don't want to dance.
They'd be like, rad party. You'd be like, I guess.
I
Yeah,
guess.
that's me. I guess, you know.
That's a
All
good one.
right. Well, next question, Josh.
Cool.
Cupcake.
I feel like I always
You have, and I'll
Cup-
fill you in.
Cupcake 1152. When I'm depressed, my boyfriend doesn't listen to me. He just gets really angry and hits me. What should I do? If this is the same boyfriend, I'm
this-
not even gonna. I'm done
We're
responding.
so
to
done with this
her.
guy.
No, wait. So let me just
Yeah,
fill you
right.
in for those of you who don't know what's going on. Cupcake 1152 has been dating this guy who we have repeatedly, over the course of months, said that it's not a good relationship. You should probably not be in it. This is a guy who has repeatedly emotionally and I guess physically abused her. I believe he's currently an addict, not in recovery. Her parents do not want her to be dating him, and she has been like grounded so that she doesn't see him, but she sneaks out and sees him anyway, and he like lives under a bridge, and it's this whole crazy thing.
Somebody broken can't help fix you. That's just you're asking somebody to help you with your depression when he already needs to first fix himself, and I don't really see that happening anytime. So you're not going to get emotional support from this person. He's broken.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what you said, and I'm on the fence about answering and giving advice, because it's like you ask us continually what you should do, and then you don't listen at all, and you just keep doing.
I love it. Get tough, Josh. Go.
And you keep doing what we are advising you not to. So what's the point in asking us anymore?
I mean, well, just real quick, like on one hand, you are not obligated. No one is obligated to do anything that we tell you to do, and we are not
True.
professionals. We can't, whatever, right? But at the same time, I do wonder. I agree with you. I do wonder why you keep asking us. if you
she's
don't
obviously upset with the situation, and she's not happy with what's happening. And part of me thinks she likes not being happy. Like,
You can get attached to feeling a certain way if you feel that that's what you deserve.
yeah,
And you describe yourself as being depressed. And so you're in a kind of a downward spiral. And the only way for you to change is to separate yourself from the situation that seems to be unhealthy.
Mhm.
And so if you really, truly believe that you deserve to be happy, it's not going to happen with this guy.
exactly.
Right. It would have happened already, and it's not going to. So one other quick thing, and this goes for everybody, not just you, is, you are dating someone, you're in love with someone, whatever, right? You respect each other. There should be no violence involved in that scenario whatsoever.
It's a crime.
Yeah, that's just
So he's already committing a crime, and
Yeah.
you need to be away from him.
people who respect you do not physically assault you
Ever.
in any way.
Ever. You don't lay a hand on someone in anger, ever. Anybody. If you lay a hand on someone, it has to be that has to be a loving movement, a loving gesture. It cannot be an angry gesture,
Mhm.
ever.
And that's not advice for you, it's advice for everyone.
Yeah. All right, next question.
Is that for you? Or
Go ahead, Aaron.
okay, cool.
I don't know my name.
Yeah, I don't know my name is the name of the person. So I guess I do for you. One of my friends hangs out a lot with a bunch of different people. When she is with other people, she always texts me, hey, or what you doing? I really don't enjoy it because she just wants to tell me she's hanging out with someone or doing something fun. And I don't know if she's doing it subconsciously or she's just being a mean girl. I really want a drama-free way to ask her to stop. So I guess it's
Once again, we can get to the point that sometimes you just need to get awkward.
Yeah.
well, I think this is like a forced FOMO moment, right? Because it's
Yeah.
fear of missing out, right? And this girl is like, because maybe you weren't feeling that way before, but she's making you feel it on purpose, like seemingly.
But why is she?
I really don't think it's this other person. I think it's her. Like like all her friend is doing is saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, and
No,
talking to her
because I
about,
know
like-
I know how this goes. She didn't say it, but I know how this goes down. I mean, this is like, all right. So let's say I'm her friend, right? And you are the girl who wrote in. You are I don't know my name, and
Okay.
I'm the friend, right?
Okay.
So I'm hanging out with somebody. I'm texting you, "Hey, what you doing?" Respond.
Hi,
What are
I'm
you
sitting
doing?
at home.
It's like, that's cool. I'm hanging out with a friend. We're doing some great stuff right now.
Okay.
Right, exactly. Now you're at home doing nothing, and I'm with a friend doing fun stuff, and you're stuck saying, okay, right? That's how she's feeling every day when this friend is doing stuff without
But if
her.
her friend is having such a good time, why does she have a free moment to text her? Like, if it's so much fun.
But okay, but like look at Instagram, right? Like it's full of like pictures of people doing fun things in fun places, and but it's all doctored, right?
I
but
know
it's
it,
still,
but that's
it's,
Instagram. It's everyone saying, "Hey, let's post to Instagram." That's not me moving to a corner to text one person.
No, but that's not how it works. You do it in front of your friends. Her other friend is doing the same thing.
I just think that this person,
That's weird.
I
Yes.
don't know my name, has a responsibility to keep the conversation going instead of ending it at okay like I did, like right here. Because for me, when I'm with my friends and hanging out with people and I know someone's sitting at home, I'm going to text them, hey, what are you doing? And then if they're the ones not continuing the conversation, obviously there is stuff in front of me to be engaged in that, but I wasn't as engaged as I could have been. That's why I'm texting my friend in the first place that isn't there. I don't think the friends being malicious about this. They're taking it in a malicious way. Like,
No, I do not know if this friend is being intentionally, I don't know, FOMO inducing, but it's certainly it's certainly a pattern that's coming up, and the result is that you feel this way regardless of whether or not your friend is trying to do it. Hard to say. Impossible.
what
for
makes
to
me
know.
think though it's more of I don't know my name is because she says I really want a drama-free way to ask. Well, like your friend's just asking you what are you doing and hey, and you're already making it be drama.
Right, but if you want a drama-free way of asking for what you want,
Just
because
ask.
this is what you want and this is how you feel, you could just say, when you text me, when you're with other people, it just kind of makes me feel some FOMO. So could you
Yeah.
not? Could you not? I love you, and could you not? Like, I always find that adding I love you before and after saying things that you don't feel like saying that's helpful, because it's just
Sandwich
saying
it.
this. Yeah, sandwich it, because it lets her know that you're just trying to protect yourself. And she may not realize that she's making you feel like you're left out. If she has a group of friends that don't include you, you just say, like, could you not text me because it just hurts my feelings, and I'm sad because I'm just watching a Real Housewives marathon, and like, you guys are like at a pool party and like with tacos and stuff. So
Also, like, to be fair,
and I love you.
To,
Yeah.
to be fair, right? Like, if you've got the time to be like, yo, what's going on? I'm hanging with a friend. Like, assuming there isn't like some bad beef or whatever, you'd think maybe they'd also ask, oh, you're not doing anything. You can hang over with us, right? Like, not that there's a requirement, but it does kind of beg the question. I wonder why they didn't ask.
If she shows you up in other ways and there's a pattern, but it also feels like maybe she just misses you because she's like with people she doesn't like as much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you can
in
think of it that way
response to
too.
what Aaron said though too, like when I'm with my friends and I do this, like I also kind of try to gauge the other person's vibe, and if they're just like, yeah, okay, and give me one answers back, like I'm not going to invite them to be, and then I be responsible for the fact that the entire group's mentality just changed because my friend is like just hi, yeah, oh cool, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, you also have to show some sort of interest in what they're doing to be able to be invited. Like
For sure.
Oh, that's a good point. All right. Well, hopefully we've solved that. Josh, would you read the next question?
From Anonymous.
From Anonymous.
There's this guy I'm friends with. We've been talking for around a week. I really like him, maybe even love him, but only a friend. I met his best friend, who is a girl, and it's obvious that he loves her a lot. So I'm really jealous of her because I thought that he needed me because he has suicidal thoughts. But since he has her, I feel like there's no need for me. Why do I need to be needed so much? I mean, that's a personal question. I can't answer that. Why do I need to be needed so much?
I like how she presented her question and then sort of like analyzed herself.
Yeah.
It's like, I think you're doing a pretty good job of
yeah,
analyzing.
you look inward. I mean, you're doing everything we
Yeah.
would do for you anyway.
Yeah, because like there's so many layers to this. Like because you shouldn't feel proud of being someone's suicide prevention plan. Like they need to get help that doesn't involve you. And friendship is friendship. And if you're not in love with him, then he can. And even if you are in love with him, he can have other people that care about him. It doesn't take anything away from your connection. Like your connection is this, and that's the only thing that's this. If he has a connection with someone else, it's this. It doesn't interrupt this at all, unless you guys are married and it's somehow infringing upon like whatever, the sanctity of that should be. Aaron, your thoughts?
I mean, it's just there's a lot of layers to this that make me uncomfortable. You've known him, I guess, for around a week, and you're already throwing words like love around. Not necessarily that you want to date him, but it's that kind of thing. And I get being close to someone quickly because like, oh, this person's awesome, right? Like, sure, that's fine, but it does say something about you that you're like so ready to just use that word, right? You're so ready to like, I love this guy. Maybe I don't want to like, maybe not in that way, but I do love him. It's so great. Like, I think you're looking for something just as much as you think he's looking for something. And you kind of addressed that, right? Why do I need to be needed so much? Mm-hmm. I think you may be the one who's needing something, right? Like, I'm trying to think of a great way to put this.
It's like a codependency kind of thing.
Maybe. It might be. Because you jump straight a week in. You're saying, love him. And it feels like you need to hear that back right away.
It's like she wants to be addicted to a person and she wants him addicted to her.
Right.
She wants that. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic love.
Right.
But it's not a healthy kind of want. Right. It's like you may want heroin, but you shouldn't have it.
Right. Like you've been here before and you're trying to get there again is really what it sounds like. It sounds like almost that's what it is. I've been thinking about it and I just got there.
Okay.
It feels like this is all something you've done before. Oh. That's exactly what this feels like. It feels like you know how the book goes, and because it's not going the way it went last time, you're frustrated. That's what this feels like to me. I don't know if that's true.
I think the why do I need to be needed it's still like a personal question, but from my like past experiences and my experience with not the same but similar circumstances, there's probably something that ended up doing with parents or somewhere that along the line where it didn't feel like she was needed or wanted in some sort of situation, and then from there it created, well, I'm not needed or wanted, and so that moving forward the relationships are all about needing to be needed. And so that's all that's ever going to be in a relationship until they realize where it's coming from. You have to find the source of a problem or the source of something for yourself to be able to snip it out of your life. And without figuring it out, it's just going to repeat itself. And like Aaron said, it sounds like this is repeating itself because it seems like the book. So
it seems like she's not just needing to be needed, but she likes the idea of like keeping this guy alive. Like that makes her feel really valued and
well, that's the ultimate being needed.
Right, but it's not healthy because you're not the person that can keep him alive. Maybe you want to go into the medical field because then you can really save lives, and maybe that's the kind of person you want to be in life, is someone who saves people. But
right, if this is really about helping people, right?
Yeah.
If it is,
yeah.
But like when you say, "I thought he needed me because he has suicidal thoughts," the only thing that this person needs is a professional who is highly trained in helping people with these sorts of problems. There's nothing else. They don't need you. They don't need the other person that he's talking to.
It's not the role of friendship.
No, this is the role of a medical, psychiatric, psychological, whatever professional, right? This is what people train years and years and years for, just to be beginning to help people like this, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is not your boundary you can't cross, that you shouldn't cross. And you feel that you need to be needed so badly that you're trying to cross that line, right? I'm not saying that you did, but like this is something that is dangerous to dabble in, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I'm just saying that this is a dangerous path to go down for you and for whoever else. It causes a lot of problems, and you don't need to be needed so much that you try to become something that you shouldn't ever be. I'm stumbling over my words, but the bottom line is this person needs help that you can't give, and you shouldn't try to.
Yeah, and so try to understand the definition of friendship, which means you're not the only friend. He should have lots of friends that enrich him, and each one in a special way. And your friendship is so valuable. You don't have to actually save a life to be entirely valuable as a person. It's not appropriate for you to be the person that saves his life. That's a job for somebody else. Your role is friendship, and that involves a whole bunch of other wonderful things that are really, really special, and you should never undervalue friendship itself. Last question, Josh.
Okay. Whenever my ex sees me, he always smiles wide and waves at me. He also nods his head up at me sometimes and smiles. What does a head nod mean? Also, whenever he has to walk by my classroom to get his class, he either dead stops in the hallway to stare at me or smile, or he will keep walking but turns his head around to stare at me as he walks forward. He won't take his eyes off me. Why is he doing this?
I mean, I can answer in a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Because he likes you. I mean, like, it's your ex. I mean, you may have broken up for a reason, but you also got together for a reason. And that, that doesn't mean you should get back together, but it means that there was a reason he liked you, and he probably still has that reason associated with you. So it's not odd, especially considering you go to school together, right? That you're exes, but you're together every day. So it's hard to really make that full separation, right? If the best way to break up, honestly, is to get as much separation, just all the way gone from each other, right? No Facebook, no anything, blocking, temporary separation. Even if you don't hate each other, just get away, break it off, back off completely, detox from each other, right? That's really what it is. And you can't do that because you're in school. And so whether or not he maybe wants to get back to you or maybe he doesn't, but he's been with you this whole time, even if you're not actually actively together, and he still thinks that you are kind of cool.
So we don't really know who broke up with who, and we don't know the details, but this seems so bro move to me that are we sure that he's not just messing with her mind because he can?
No, that's not what he's doing.
It's not?
No way.
Josh?
I don't think he is. I mean, it's completely normal for exes to be friendly with each other, especially in like mature relationships. In high school, maybe not that normal, but I think that you have an opportunity here to either remain friends or possibly start something if you're interested. He's maybe interested. I don't know. Like these questions you're saying, why is he doing this? Is really ask him. Like he's the only one who can give you the full answer. We can only speculate. And so I would just say go to the source.
I get questions a lot from people that want me to interpret behaviors.
Yeah.
And, oftentimes I'll say, ask the person. So there's that thing in you that says, I would like to know all the answers without having to do anything that scary. And so we always want to kind of read each other's body language and behavior and to see whether or not what we want to be true. We have magic 8 balls for this very purpose, yes? And
Definitely.
Because there's risk involved to just ask him, right?
Yeah.
So how should she approach him? What should she say?
I mean, honestly, in a situation like this, like maybe see if there's, and I wouldn't normally say this, but in this situation, I think maybe find someone else who might know something, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't generally advise this, but in this case, I like, because it's ex territory, right? And you don't necessarily want to start something up again with this person. You don't want to give them hope when they shouldn't have any. Or you may want to get back in touch with them, but maybe you don't want to rush into it, in which case, like either way, approaching him and asking this might give him hope that he shouldn't have. So I'm like, maybe finding it out covertly isn't the worst option.
I mean, you could do the covert whatever thing that you said.
Covert?
Covert thing. However, I just think still, like, I don't think it will give him hope unless you come at it in a way which allows that to happen. I think you can just be like, dude, like, why are you doing this? You don't even have to anything else other than that. Literally ask what you asked us, the 5 words, and that's it. You don't have to explain why you're asking or anything. Just be like, okay, why are you doing this? Because I notice you're doing this and it needs to either stop or, like, you can make that intention and you don't have to give him hope. Like, there's a way to talk about it that doesn't give him hope.
Does it matter who broke up with who? Because if he broke up with her and he wants to be more than friends, he needs to do more than this head bobbing stuff.
That's right.
If she broke up with him, then she should just approach him and say, I miss you.
But at the same time, like, we don't know if she does miss him. We don't know. We didn't really get a good feel for how she's reacting. She's just curious, it sounds like.
Do you really feel like someone would type out this question to us if they didn't hope that it means that he likes her? Because you could easily interpret this if you were over the person and he was standing there in the hallway and staring at you. You could easily interpret like, my ex is not over me.
Oh, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
I agree, but she also might be thinking, is he messing with me? Is he like being mean in some way that I don't understand?
Without looking at his facial expressions, it's impossible for us to know if he's being kind of ironically sarcastic with his kind of gazes. But send us a picture of his expressions. But yeah, he seems to be taking time to bring you into his awareness.
Right.
So that's a thing that's happening when he could just be picking up his stuff and moving on.
Yes. If I'm going to generalize and like presume, I'm going to presume along the lines of, sounds like he kind of is still into you, right?
Matt, you always have real life experiences that match these exact questions. So please talk to us. You read boy.
I don't know that I have an experience here, but I will tell you that I got a different impression.
Okay,
than you guys, and that is, I kind of thought that he's teasing her. Well, because of the way that she phrased it, he stops dead and stares at me and looks at me and grins,
maybe.
and it all depends on how it ended. He's an ex, so did it end well? Who ended it? But if there was some tension there, and now he's doing that, it sounds like teasing to me.
But teasing designed
it's really
to kind
hard
of
to tell, but
isn't it teasing designed to open up conversation again?
No.
No?
No. I mean,
that's not my feeling.
it's used sometimes in that way, but not mostly.
Is he
wouldn't
showing off
say-
for his friends?
No, I don't think it's a friend thing.
It feels like a power thing.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, if she broke up with him and he was mad about that, now he's kind of harassing her. If they broke up amicably and he's, it's really hard to tell from the way it's written. But
yes.
it could very well be that he's kind of harassing her and it's a power trip thing.
It could be. And I think that if it is that, maybe a direct questioning would actually shut it down. I mean, I think that if you're like direct about it and be like, I'm noticing this, what's going on, right? Like, that's kind of hard. If he is doing this to her in like a not so friendly way, I think he wouldn't really know how to respond to that. I think it'd be like, oh, I didn't think it would go this far.
Yeah. And the fact that she is written in to ask us. It sounds like she doesn't feel comfortable asking him.
I think she wants to know. I think, to me, because I speak girl, I don't speak fluid boy. I can speak some boy, but my native language is girl, and it feels like she's asking because she wants us to say he's into you, so that she feels braver about maybe speaking with him again. He's certainly taking up time and energy on her. Correct?
Sure.
Yeah, it definitely, but it's just so hard to tell.
Yeah, so like Josh said.
But I have seen that. I have seen that sort of thing where, it's a teasing power trip kind of a thing.
Which, might be mostly harmless, but it's still not good.
You could stare back and say, am I going to need a restraining order?
If that's how you're feeling about it, that's not a bad thing to say either.
I mean, if you say it with a smile, then you could launch a conversation that way, kind of, because...
You know what? I think that either way, good or bad, like perhaps seeing what other people are hearing about his feelings might be a good way to start and then work it out from there. Just, don't make a big deal about it yet. Just if it's harassment and it gets worse, make a big deal about it.
Yeah. If you like him and you want to date him again, think about why you broke up, what went wrong, what could be better this time, and whether or not you guys should reconnect and have a conversation about whatever this energy is that's going on between the two of you. Because you're looking at him long enough to notice that he's staring. So there's that. All right, we've been Journals Out Loud. Thank you for being with us, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.